everyone deserves the right to play. Everyone deserves the right to come here, sit in these seats, and feel safe, and not feel like there's a threat or they can't be who they are. Definitely will be speaking up against that legislation and those laws that are trying to be passed, for sure.
Do that. But it's just so weird to me. You want your son to call you Pops, and whenever his friends ask, what does your dad do for a living? He's supposed to say, oh, he plays in the WNBA. Now, to make this even more confusing, Brittney Griner maintains that she is a biological woman and identifies as female. I don't know. Congratulations to Brittney Griner for bringing in a baby boy. I just think it's very fascinating how this human somehow finds a way to create controversy out of every.
Something wild just went down. Brittney Griner is dropping heavy hints about a possible jump to the NBA. And this doesn't sound like some random PR stunt. This feels dangerously real. The whispers aren't just hype anymore. They're sounding like real moves being made behind closed doors. But here's where it gets messy. She just got called out in a way that's got even her biggest fans second-guessing her loyalty. Brittney's always been caught up in headlines, but this drama, it's explosive, way beyond the usual gossip. She's being accused of pulling off a massive fraud scheme that's flipping the script on everything people thought they knew about her. So now everybody's wondering, is this NBA talk her boldest power move yet to climb higher? Or is she trying to outrun the heat that's closing in fast? Has she been playing the long game, hiding secrets while smiling right into the cameras? And don't get it twisted, this didn't just pop out of nowhere. Just last week, Brittney was tangled in a nasty sponsorship fallout that had her brand shaking. Her own publicist dropped 3 shady, cryptic posts talking about elite male competition and leveling the field. Most people laughed it off until, boom, leaked emails from an Atlanta Dream staffer accused Brittney of twisting the whole narrative to hide off-court chaos that was seconds from exploding. This scandal is snowballing fast, and fans can't believe how quick it's all spiraling out of control like wildfire. And that's when the bombshell hit, because once people started digging through those leaked emails, the wording didn't just seem suspicious, it flat out screamed cover-up. But here's the most shocking twist. Looking back now, all the warning signs were sitting right in front of us the whole time. Remember that awkward sideline interview last season where Brittney slipped and said, if I was in the NBA, before cutting herself off quick? Back then, nobody really thought twice. But now, with all this chaos spilling out, fans are replaying that clip with brand new eyes. Like, was she secretly hinting at this wild move the entire time? And that wasn't Brittney's only slip-up on camera. Fans just dug up another old interview where she boldly said, everyone should be allowed to play ball. At first, it sounded like she was speaking about inclusivity, like every athlete from every background should have the right to compete without limits. But now, people are flipping that quote upside down, wondering if she was secretly planting seeds years ago, dropping sneaky hints that a massive crossover move to the NBA was already in the pipeline. To make this scandal even stickier, the Atlanta Dream's front office has gone completely ghost. No official statements about the leaked emails, no acknowledgement of Brittney's NBA rumors, and absolutely no response about what she's allegedly been hiding under wraps. Fans are going nuts online, demanding answers, begging for somebody, anybody to finally speak up. The silence is making the whole situation look way too calculated, and that's a brutal look not just for Brittney, but for her camp and even the league itself. But hold on, because it's about to get even wilder than anyone expected. What really sent the internet into a frenzy wasn't Brittney's shocking NBA tease at all. It was the sneaky, shady move by one of her former WNBA teammates. We won't drop her name since Brittney's already getting cooked nonstop across the internet. But this ex-teammate suddenly unfollowed Brittney on every platform, then posted a cryptic story saying, when the truth hits, they always pivot like it was part of the plan. The second that story went live, fans lost their minds. Reddit threads exploded with wild theories, NBA TikTok went crazy stitching old Brittney interviews, and just like that, the focus shifted overnight. Nobody was even locked in on the fraud exposure anymore. The entire conversation spun out of control in a brand new direction, and now it's chaos everywhere. But here's the part nobody can brush off. How does Brittney's alleged fraud even tie into all this madness? Those same leaked internal messages claim her camp had been quietly running nonstop damage control for months, scrambling behind the scenes to bury documents linked to a lawsuit filed out in Phoenix. And here's where the real bombshell drops. That lawsuit reportedly involves one of the biggest names in women's basketball, and it accuses somebody of using falsified medical records to lock down a 2020 2022 injury exemption. Fans are stunned, asking how deep this rabbit hole really goes and whether Brittney's fingerprints are all over it. If this story checks out, it could become one of the biggest scandals women's basketball has ever faced in years, and Brittney is tangled right at the center of the storm. That's what blew the entire lid off. Fans started connecting dots online, and what they uncovered was straight up jaw-dropping. That same injury exemption, it was the one that let Brittney skip a crucial stretch of games, and according to those leaks, it allegedly triggered bonus payouts she normally wouldn't have touched. At that point, any hope of sweeping things under the rug disappeared instantly. Those extra perks made the whole mess look 10 times more suspicious than anybody expected. Now this sudden NBA crossover isn't just looking like a bold career shakeup. People are calling it a distraction tactic, maybe even a planned escape route before the whole truth explodes out in public. And now the million-dollar question is buzzing everywhere. Was Brittney scheming this NBA jump the entire time as a long play, or is she just scrambling to run before the WNBA itself starts turning ice cold on her? And it gets even juicier. Brittney's relationship with the WNBA hasn't exactly been smooth sailing since the whole Russia ordeal. Sure, on the surface, the league rolled out flashy tributes, plastered her face everywhere, and welcomed her back like a hero. They acted like everything was all love. But insiders say, behind the curtains, it was anything but picture perfect. For a long time, whispers have been circling about major fractures. Multiple sources claim there's been real tension over just how much spotlight Brittney was hogging compared to everyone else.
It was nice to be back on the court in a real game and everything. The love from the fans when I came out was amazing. The players, I definitely feel it. I appreciate everything a little bit more. All the little small moments that I used to just like, oh, I'm so tired. Oh, I don't want to go to practice today, or oh, this, that. I think that has changed, honestly. Just appreciating everything, because tomorrow's not guaranteed. You don't know what it's going to look like. So I think that's kind of how it changed.
Everybody knows who Brittney Griner is, and if you don't know who Brittney Griner is, she is the WNBA star that we traded a weapons terrorist for about a year ago. And recently, a momentous personal occasion has happened for her.
You're about to be a mom. How is that feeling? Pops. Oh, let me get it together. About to be a pops.
Now look, man, it's 2024. I don't care if a woman and a woman want to have a kid together. Good on them. More power to.
And now it looks like those cracks never healed, just got deeper. Some players felt like Brittney was being forced down everyone's throats as the face of the league, even when her on-court game wasn't always living up to the hype. So when those lawsuit rumors started bubbling up, a lot of folks weren't even surprised. What really raised eyebrows? The league didn't rush to protect her, didn't fight the leaks, didn't push back with spin, and didn't use their usual PR machine at all. Instead, they stayed dead silent. And honestly, that silence is louder and shadier than anything else. Fans are reading it as the league keeping their distance, almost like they're bracing for the worst. But here's where it jumps into a whole new level of crazy. Brittney's camp didn't just float the idea of her maybe playing men's ball someday. Reports say they've already reached out to 2 NBA squads, the Rockets and the Hornets, trying to set up hush-hush private scrimmages, and the details make it even wilder. They're not shooting for contracts or high-profile exhibition games yet. What they're chasing are scrimmages, pure and simple. And that's a big deal because scrimmages are all about testing optics. No contracts, no legal strings, no commitments, just a way to see how fans, players, and the media would react if Brittney really steps on the hardwood against NBA talent. If those secret scrimmages land well, that's basically Brittney's golden ticket to pull off an even bigger history-making move, and she knows it. The stakes couldn't be higher, and every whisper says she's betting it all on this risky play. But here's the real question twisting everybody's mind. Why now? Why gamble this heavy, knowing the risk of getting clowned worldwide if it backfires, unless what's waiting for her in the WNBA is way worse than whatever storm she might face in the NBA? Sure, elite women's players have squared off with men in practice runs before, but with all this baggage and scandal heat piled on her name, Brittney's timing makes it feel like something massive is bubbling, ready to blow wide open. At this point, it doesn't even look like a simple career challenge anymore. It feels like Brittney's sprinting to outrun a truth she can't keep buried forever. And just when it seemed like the chaos might finally cool down, boom! Another explosive leak dropped out of nowhere, dragging fans right back into full-blown meltdown mode. This time, the leak wasn't emails. It was a voice note, allegedly from a private WNBA staff meeting, where a coach straight up labeled Brittney damaged optics in motion. That line alone had jaws dropping, but what happened next turned it nuclear. Her former agent suddenly unfollowed her, wiped every promo post, and scrubbed her clean off their entire featured talent roster. Moves like that don't just happen overnight. For an agent to cut ties that brutally and that fast, something major had to have gone down behind the curtain. Something so serious it could flip how fans see Brittney forever, and maybe even how they see the entire league itself. And what's the NBA saying while all this spirals? Exactly what you'd expect: silence. But insiders and big-name sports reporters are already hinting that NBA circles are buzzing with curiosity. Just no one's bold enough to step in yet. Everyone's glued to the drama, waiting to see if Brittney's gamble becomes her ultimate power play or the most public crash and burn the basketball world has ever seen. One league insider even claimed Brittney's NBA move feels less like a serious proposal and more like a giant PR reset button. And honestly, that makes perfect sense, because right now, nobody's even talking about her game anymore. The headlines and controversy have completely swallowed the spotlight, and that's exactly what her team seems to be counting on. But here's the kicker. Fans are split straight down the middle. Some are hyping her up, calling her brave for breaking barriers and trying to rewrite history. But plenty of others aren't holding back, saying loud and clear, if you're really that good, you don't need smoke and mirrors to prove it. When you stitch all the pieces together, the whole saga doesn't feel like a pure basketball decision at all. It's starting to look like a stage production with every scene carefully plotted. And that's why Brittney's media game deserves serious attention, because it's morphing into a full-blown storyline of its own. In just the last 48 hours, her camp has gone full throttle trying to make this NBA leap look like the next big cultural moment. They've dropped a flashy, competitive reevaluation, resurfaced old clips of Brittney dunking on male players, and even teased a brand new docu-series hyping up her so-called next big chapter. Here's the wildest part. Insiders are whispering that the documentary is already in post-production, polished, and nearly ready to drop. And on top of that, Brittney has allegedly been grinding quietly behind the scenes, setting up low-key promo plays to build buzz long before the cameras roll out. At this point, it's looking less like a bold career gamble and way more like a master plan to flip the whole narrative in her favor, while the world can't stop watching every single move. This explains why Brittney's name has been plastered everywhere lately, especially after that headline-grabbing sit-down interview with Cam Newton. In that chat, it was crystal clear she was working overtime to look more relatable, more likable, more real. Even the interview title, saying Brittney was speaking her truth, felt way too polished to be some random coincidence. During the conversation, Brittney did everything in her power to come across down to earth, almost like she was selling a completely new version of herself to the public. But now people are asking the tough question. Is all this NBA chatter really about redemption, a shiny rebrand, or is there something way bigger hiding behind the curtain that she doesn't want exposed? Then things went left fast when an anonymous WNBA employee leaked a private DM exchange. In it, somebody straight up asked, "Is she really moving to the NBA?" The reply, "She's not moving, she's deflecting." That one reply smashed the internet like a bombshell. Because if she's deflecting, that means there's something major she's desperate to bury. And whatever that hidden truth is, it's clearly serious enough that Brittney might actually walk away from the very league that turned her into a superstar in the first place. If that turns out to be true, it could rattle the WNBA down to its foundation. And now everyone's asking the same haunting question. If Brittney really bails, what happens to the league she's been the face of for years? Right now, the whole WNBA is just sitting back, letting this circus unravel. And that silence is louder than any press conference could ever be. No statements, no pushback on the NBA rumors, not even their usual PR spin machine kicking in. That kind of quiet screams just one thing. They're officially finished trying to clean up Brittney's never-ending mess. Now everyone's asking the real question. Was Brittney Griner truly exposed? Or did the league finally decide to cut her loose for good? The suspense has fans losing their minds, and every theory sounds crazier than the last. Here's where it gets even wilder. While people are still connecting dots, the lawsuit stays sealed tight, the leaked emails haven't been verified, and that flashy docuseries about her so-called next chapter has already been scooped up by a major streaming platform. This isn't just looking like a scandal anymore, it's starting to feel like a soft Exile dressed up to look like a bold, history-making career move. And if that's really what's happening, it forces the question, what's still hiding in the shadows that pushed her to make a desperate league jump before the truth blows wide open? Brittney hasn't posted a single word. The Atlanta Dream has gone dead silent, and the WNBA is just standing on the sidelines, refusing to open any doors for her return. At this point, the story isn't just about where Brittney might go. It's about everything she may be forced to leave behind for good. And until those sealed files finally get cracked open, Brittney's NBA leap might go down as one of the slickest, most strategic cover-ups professional sports has ever seen. This saga is nowhere close to finished, and the next twist could shake things up even harder than anything we've seen so far. So smash that like button, share this wild story with your friends, and drop a comment with what you think Brittney's really plotting. Stay locked in, because trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. See you on the next one.